My girlfriend's first love has cancer and begged my girlfriend to have a child for him. After I refused, he got drunk and crossed the road, resulting in a car accident and his death. Later, on the night of our wedding, she pushed me, who was drunk, onto the road. When my heart was shattered by a car, and I was lying on the ground on the verge of death, she came up to me and said with a look of disgust on her face, "Whose child I want to have has nothing to do with you. What right do you have to make decisions? For me, if you hadn't refused, how could Henry have died so soon?" After being reborn, I went back to the day when my girlfriend's first love begged her to have a child. This time, I smiled and replied, "This is your body. You can decide whose child you want to have." In the multi-bed ward, Henry knelt down tremblingly when he saw me, his face pale. "Julian, I only have this last bit of time left. The greatest wish of my family is to see me get married and have a child." As he spoke, he counted, his voice full of tears. "I really don't have the energy now to find another woman to fall in love with, get married, and have her give birth to a child for me. Please help me. Consider it doing a good deed. After I'm dead, won't the child be yours? Just take care of my family. By the way, in the future, Julian, since you and Ava haven't gotten married and had a child yet, let me have a child with her first. There's no need to get married. Her first husband will still be you." He held my hand, and the equally disgusting face from 2 lifetimes overlapped at this moment. Henry was as shameless as ever. In my previous life, I couldn't understand his request. Ava is my girlfriend and, more importantly, the wife I've chosen for my life. During our 3-year relationship, because she was in poor health, I was even careful when holding her hand, let alone any more intimate actions regarding something as important as getting married and having a child. Of course, I had to wait until her health improved. Now, he was asking me to give her up on the grounds that he had cancer. It would be difficult for any normal man to accept this. I firmly refused him, grabbed Ava, and left quickly, not allowing her to get any closer to Henry. Unexpectedly, a few days later, he escaped from the hospital, got drunk after buying alcohol, and finally died in a car accident. Before he died, he even sent a message to Ava. It was a long love letter of 800 words. After seeing it, Ava locked herself in the room, hugging her phone and looking gloomy for a long time, worried that something might happen to her. I broke down the door and wanted to take her out to relax. Unexpectedly, she suddenly pushed me to the ground and angrily accused me with red eyes. "You murderer, how can you still be in the mood to go out at a time like this? Doesn't your conscience hurt?" She left with her phone without looking back and directly took a taxi back to her parents' home. No matter what I said, she refused to come back. I thought this was how our lives would be from then on, until a week later when I came home from work. I saw that she had actually prepared a meal and was looking at me with a beaming smile. "You're back. I was wrong the other day, so I learned to cook some of your favorite dishes at home and wanted to give you a surprise when you came back. You're not mad at me, are you?" Ava had never cooked before, and I took care of all the housework at home. Facing her actions, I was both surprised and delighted, and I forgot everything. It wasn't until later, on the day of our wedding, that she pushed me, who was drunk, onto the road. Only then did I realize that she had always hated me. On the verge of death, I lay on the ground and she squatted beside me with a look of disgust on her face, stepping on my face. "Whose child I want to have has nothing to do with you. What right do you have to make decisions for me? If you hadn't refused, how could Henry have died so soon?" Fortunately, I was reborn. When Ava, who was carrying the newly bought fruits, saw Henry kneeling down, she immediately rushed over to help him up. "Why are you kneeling down all of a sudden? Did you bully him, Julian?" After helping him up, she glared at me as if I were her enemy. Henry sat by the hospital bed, holding Ava's arm and shaking his head repeatedly. "No, I just knelt down and begged him to let you have a child for me." Ava's face suddenly turned a little embarrassed, and she looked at me. Well, this doesn't seem quite right. But she didn't show any sign of letting go of Henry's arm. I stood aside and watched coldly. When Henry was about to kneel down again, I spoke. "Sure, anyway, I haven't married her yet." Ava's eyes widened instantly, and the surprise and excitement in her eyes couldn't be hidden. "Really?" I nodded, my tone calm. "Really? Anyway, it's your belly. You can have the child of whoever you want. Just make the decision yourself. Anyway, I'm not the one giving birth, and I won't be the one suffering excruciating pain either." Ava came over and took my hand, her eyes shining brightly. "I didn't expect you to be so understanding. After this, child is born, we'll get married, and then I'll have a child for you. Henry doesn't have anyone to take care of him recently. Let's upgrade his room to a private one. That way it will be more comfortable for me to take care of him every night." "Sure." After hearing my words, a bright smile immediately appeared on Ava's face. She was about to kiss me, but I sidestepped to avoid it. "I just came back from outside. I'm dirty." Ava didn't think much of it. Instead, she hugged me in her arms and then immediately pulled me to go through the procedures to upgrade Henry's room. After the procedures were completed, Henry wasn't as weak as before. He immediately moved into the new room with his luggage. It turned out that everything before was just an act for me. I watched Ava busying around. Henry coughed twice, took her hand, and made her sit down to talk. When she wasn't looking, he looked at me provocatively. I just found it all very boring. Such a promiscuous woman. You can have her. I don't care about her. Since coming back from the hospital, Ava has been away from home for long periods of time. Even when she comes home, she just stays briefly to make elaborate nutritious meals for Henry. When I stand beside her, she just frowns and asks me to get out of the way. Obviously, I bought this house in full, but now I seem redundant. During our 3-year relationship, even in the previous life, the meals she cooked to please me were just simple home-cooked dishes, and the taste was even a bit hard to swallow. But in order to make her happy, I pretended that the food was really delicious. Now, looking at the nutritious meal in front of me, I took a bite and found that it tasted really good. Sure enough, in the previous life, she was just trying to please me, a fool. Ava has been busy in the kitchen, ordering me to pack the soup I made for Henry. Then she took a bag and went into my room, took out a few of my clothes and wanted to take them to Henry to change into. I gave her a look, and then she remembered to ask, "Henry doesn't have any clothes to wear now. You're so understanding. You won't be unhappy, will you? Henry is thinner than me, and my clothes are all tailored. He'll just look like a clown in them." I tightened the bag containing the food in my hand and said indifferently, "I don't mind. It's just a pity that I won't be able to keep these clothes." Ava didn't hesitate to ask me to drive her to the hospital. In the ward, Henry's eyes lit up when he saw my clothes. Well, he's always just been a wage earner. When has he ever seen nice clothes? Ava casually took out 2 pieces and stuffed them into his arms. "These are all Julian's clothes. Go and change. If they don't fit, ask Julian to buy you some." Henry hugged the clothes in his arms, then slowly got out of bed and fell into Ava's arms right in front of me. After Ava helped him up, she said with a bit of pity, "I'll go in and help you change your clothes." But Henry glanced at me and didn't dare to move. Ava forcefully took his hand and led him to the bathroom, comforting him, "Don't worry. Julian can understand. You're a patient now, and it's only right that I help you." Then Henry let out a sigh of relief, and the 2 of them went into the bathroom together. I stood at the door of the ward, hearing the unceasing noises coming from inside. The 2 of them were giggling and joking in the bathroom, and the air was filled with an ambiguous atmosphere. I frowned in disgust and almost vomited up my last night's dinner. These 2 people are really too lazy to even pretend a little more. I don't know how long it took, but the 2 of them came out with flushed faces. Even Ava had an indistinct hickey on her neck. Anyone could tell that what happened to them inside wasn't ordinary. I kept my head down and pretended not to see it. I just wanted to finish the things at hand as soon as possible and drive them out. It would be best not to see them. Just as I was about to leave, I saw a woman walking in with a hunched back. After some conversation, I found out that this was Henry's grandmother, who most wanted to see Henry get married and have a child. The old woman's eyes were misty with tears, and she kept feeling Henry's hand. Even Ava was moved to tears. The old lady looked so pitiful. I followed her words. "Yes, it seems the plan needs to be moved up. Let's just consider it fulfilling the old lady's wish. Since you're willing to have a child, you should have more children while he's still in good condition." In fact, I rolled my eyes big time in my heart. Henry's cancer wasn't caused by me. What does it have to do with me? Ava didn't expect that I would say it on her behalf and kept nodding. When the old lady heard this, she even mistook them for a couple and held their hands, giving them instructions on matters to pay attention to. From the side, they really looked like a family. Since that day, I often made excuses not to go to the hospital. I watched through the camera in the ward, as Henry had a ruddy complexion. And when he held Ava up, there was no sign of the weakness of a patient at all. I began to look into Henry himself. Ava didn't even say a word of concern. All our recent chat records were her asking me for money. I kept a record of every single sum. Only when I had enough evidence could I take revenge on them all at once. At the evening banquet, I was entertaining clients as usual. This time, the client was really difficult to deal with, and I drank too much with them. At the end of the banquet, Olivia, the newly recruited employee in the company, held me up as I was about to faint. Olivia looked delicate and weak, but she had quite a bit of strength. She looked nervous, helped me to a seat, and took out her phone to call a taxi. "Julian, what's your home address? I'll send you home." I shook my head and looked up at her. "Cars from outside can't get into my neighborhood. Can you drive?" She blushed a little under my gaze. "Yes, I can." I handed her the car keys and told her where the car was parked. She took the car keys and ran off quickly. I rubbed my head and couldn't help but smile. Olivia was very quick. After helping me into the passenger seat, she buckled up my seatbelt for me. She got very close, and there was a faint scent of roses on her. After she got into the driver's seat, I stared at her profile for a long time and couldn't help but ask, "Have I seen you somewhere before?" Olivia's hands, gripping the steering wheel, tensed up immediately. and then she named a university. I understood right away. She was a female college student I had sponsored. Now that I thought about it, it was indeed time for her to do an internship. I didn't expect that she had actually managed to become an intern in my company. Our company's internship opportunity was what many students from prestigious universities longed for. She was just a student from a second-tier university, yet she had managed to squeeze in. She was really an outstanding girl. Olivia continued, I just want to repay your kindness. I nodded, already understanding. Just keep driving. Only then did she relax a lot as we were getting close to home. My dizziness had subsided a lot, but Olivia still insisted on helping me inside. After asking me where the kitchen was, she made me a glass of honey lemonade. But before I could take a sip, I heard a scream. Julian, you actually brought another woman home. Ava ran downstairs quickly and knocked the glass of water out of my hand. You haven't been home for so long. I thought you were busy at the company. Now it seems you were busy flirting with someone else. Julian, you're really heartless. The lemonade spilled all over me, and I frowned and snapped angrily. Ava, can you stop talking nonsense? She's a new intern in my company. She was just being kind enough to send me home. Ava snorted coldly, clearly not believing me. What kind of intern gets to be this close to you? A young girl like her even sent you all the way into the house. Who would believe that you two are innocent? Then she rushed over and was about to slap Olivia. Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson for seducing someone else's boyfriend. I rushed over, grabbed her arm, and pushed her away. Can you stop making a scene? Olivia, however, didn't look the least bit afraid. Julian and I are innocent. This is slander, you little vixen. How dare you argue back? I'll tear your face apart today. Ava was shaking with anger. She was just about to rush forward again, but I blocked her. Only then did I look at Ava seriously. She was wearing a strappy nightgown, and there were marks all over her body, obviously from having been intimate. The old Ava in my heart was innocent, beautiful, and inviolable. Now looking at her like this, I just felt disgusted. I scanned her up and down. When you're scolding her, why don't you think about yourself? You're using my money to support your first love, and now you even bring him home and do whatever you want in my house. There are marks on your body from having been intimate, and you're going to have a child for him. What kind of person are you, you shameless woman? I feel sick just looking at you. I had originally thought about breaking up with Ava amicably, but I really didn't expect that someone could be this shameless. She had already started sleeping in my house without my permission. Ava's eyes widened in disbelief. What are you talking about? How can you be so mean to me just because of another woman? I won't let her off today. With that, she picked up the vase on the table and threw it at Olivia. I reached out to block it, and still, several shards cut my face. Fortunately, Olivia wasn't hurt. There was a moment of silence in the air, and I said coldly, Ava, I've really spoiled you too much. Ava was so scared that she stood there motionless. When Olivia saw this, she immediately found the first aid kit at home and helped me deal with the wound. She was gentle and meticulous in her actions, while Ava could only sit beside me, looking helpless and begging for forgiveness. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was originally going to throw it at this woman. Don't be mad at me. After that, she tried to snatch the first aid kit from Olivia's hands. I reached out to stop her. I didn't want my face to be ruined by her. She suddenly felt wronged. Julian, I lowered my eyes and said calmly, Ava, we're breaking up. Ava panicked immediately. Why are we breaking up? I don't agree. I just accidentally hurt your face. I've already apologized. Isn't that enough? She looked at Olivia and pushed her down hard. It's all your fault. If you hadn't seduced Julian, why would he want to break up with me? Olivia didn't argue with her. She stood up again and said to me, all right, I finished dealing with your wound. Ava was still angry. As soon as she opened her mouth, she suddenly retched. My intuition told me that she was pregnant. Our commotion finally brought Henry downstairs. He trotted over to Ava, looking both surprised and delighted. All our efforts these days weren't in vain. There's finally something going on with your belly. Henry had a ruddy complexion, not looking like a sick person at all. Ava touched her belly and looked up at me. Even now, you still want to break up with me? I remained unmoved, and my tone was even more determined. Yes, we're breaking up. Anyway, we're not married yet. It won't stop you three from being a loving family. I hadn't originally planned to break up so soon. After all, I hadn't prepared a lot of things, but these two were pushing their luck. If I didn't break up with her now, I would only suffer more losses. Ava's eyes immediately turned red, and she said in a trembling voice, fine, you said this. Even if you beg me to get back together later, I won't agree to it. She was certain that I would coax her like I used to because I had always been obedient to her. But this time, I didn't do as she expected. When Ava saw that I ignored her, she gritted her teeth and left with Henry. Bang! The whole living room fell silent again. I let out a sigh of relief. I'm sorry for getting you involved and making you get hurt just now. Olivia shook her head. It's okay. I volunteered to send you home. Also, What you said wasn't wrong. I do have other feelings for you. I originally thought she was your girlfriend, so I just planned to keep these feelings to myself. I didn't expect to run into your breakup. Does this mean I have a chance? Olivia bravely walked towards me, but I didn't have any desire to be in a relationship at the moment. Ava alone was already enough to make me annoyed. I couldn't guarantee that Olivia wouldn't be the next Ava. Olivia also realized that she had been a bit too abrupt. She took a step back, gave me a few words of advice, and then left quietly. That night, I packed up all her things and threw them out. Then I calculated all the accounts of these days and sent them to her, asking her to pay me back. Ava never expected that I was serious. She didn't have her own job and spent money recklessly. Now, she and Henry were even relying on me for their livelihood. At the moment, the two of them owed me hundreds of thousands of yuan. After seeing the bill I sent, she immediately called me, fuming with anger. Julian, don't go too far. We just broke up, and Henry is a patient who really needs money right now. What's the difference between asking for money at this time and killing us? For the sake of our past relationship, don't ask for the money back. I sneered. What ability do you have to make me give up on collecting the debt? I looked at the message sent to me by my assistant. It was conclusive evidence of Henry faking his illness. At the same time, he had also compiled the videos of the two of them being intimate in the hospital and in my house, and was waiting for my instruction to send them out nationwide. Be sensible and pay back the money properly. Otherwise, it won't be as simple as just paying back the money in a while. I had thought that everything would develop as I had expected, but I didn't expect that these two people could be incredibly brazen. They started a live stream in the hospital ward to make money. One was wearing a hospital gown with a pale face. The other was stroking her belly with tears in her eyes. They sat in front of the hospital bed together and accused me, completely twisting the events of these days. They painted me as a shameless person who had an affair with a female employee. And Ava was portrayed as a pregnant woman who had been abandoned, while Henry was presented as a poor soul who had gotten cancer because of me. The two of them took turns speaking, sobbing, and crying. Netizens who didn't know the truth believed their one-sided story and generously gave them tips. Later, through their inadvertent revelations, my company's official account was immediately bombarded by netizens. Scumbag men and cheap women deserve to die a bad death. I hope your company goes bankrupt immediately. Those who harm others should pay with their lives. Sure enough, men turn bad once they have money. I hope you never have children in your life. Some netizens even dug up information about Olivia. Isn't this the girl from our school? I remember her family was really poor and she could only go to school with the help of sponsorship. It's terrifying to think about. A company CEO and a poor college student. Who knows what kind of relationship they have? Some people even came to the building of our company to look for us. They were shouting that they wouldn't let the scumbag man and cheap woman get away with it. When I saw it, Olivia was standing in the middle of a group of people, gasping for breath with a stick in her hand. Her coat was torn and her hair was all messy. She looked really disheveled. There was also a lot of garbage thrown at her. How dare you resist? You should be stoned to death by us. A stone happened to hit her on the head and blood flowed down her forehead. No one came to her aid. I roared at the security guards I had hired. Drive these people away. What the hell are you here for? Only then did the security guards, who had been too afraid to step forward, pick up their tools and do their job. Then I took out my phone and called the police immediately. There are people gathering and causing trouble downstairs of my company. Many people were afraid of actually getting arrested and fled in all directions. After I saw that the crowd had finally dispersed, I took off my coat and put it on her. It's okay now, Olivia. You'd better go home and hide for a while during this time. I was worried that something might happen to Olivia on the way. So I personally sent her home. She had been tensing herself up all the time, and finally, she burst into tears the moment she got home. She grabbed my hand as if it were a life-saving straw and wouldn't let go. I had no choice but to hold her in my arms and comfort her. It's okay. It's really okay. I got you involved in this. It will be fine in a while. I will make them pay the price they deserve. They won't be arrogant for long. Perhaps she was tired from crying, and the person in my arms gradually let out sounds of breathing. I carried her to the bedroom and settled her down. Looking at the girl who was still frowning in her sleep, I let out a sigh. These people are really going too far. Now that the hype is high enough, they are still feeling proud. Well, the higher the hype, the harder they will fall. Ava and Henry won't have any chance to make a comeback. I opened my phone, and, seeing that they were still live streaming, I immediately called Ava. Ava and Henry looked at each other, and then they answered the call, putting it on speakerphone. Encouraged by Henry, Ava's tone became much more arrogant. What are you here to apologize now? Let's write off all the past things. Give us 500,000 yuan for our living expenses, and I'll consider forgiving you. Henry also chimed in. Julian, I'm not a greedy person. 500,000 yuan is enough to treat my illness. The comments under the live stream kept scrolling. Only 500,000 yuan. That's too little. It will be gone just for treating the illness. Sister is really kind. If it were me, I would ask for several million yuan. God, he just wants to get healthy. I feel so sorry for him. They pretended so convincingly that they didn't even blink an eye. I sneered. Who said, I'm here to apologize. Do you too, a scumbag man and a cheap woman, even deserve an apology? Just now, I had already instructed my assistant to release the video of their intimate behavior, but it hadn't started to spread widely yet. Ava cried and roared into the phone. Julian, I was going to have a child for you, and this is how you treat me. If it weren't for that vixen seducing you, we could have been a happy family. The emotions of the netizens below became more and more intense. Oh my God, sister, your words still show that you love him, but he doesn't deserve it at all. Soon, a comment stood out. No, there's a plot twist. Ava was still cursing and didn't notice anything was wrong at all. I knew that the video had already started to spread. Since they like to use public opinion to force me to back down, now they can taste the consequences of the backlash. I had already invested a large amount of traffic on all major platforms. Many bloggers started to spread the news quickly when they saw this. Soon, this incident made it to the trending topics. The comments on the live stream were quickly drowned out by different voices. It's so disgusting. They were having fun like that in the hospital and even brought the person back to the boyfriend's house. I thought he was a patient. How come he has so much energy? They are so cheap. The scumbag man and cheap woman are blaming the victim. Looking at it this way, Julian is actually too kind. I was really blind to have sympathized with such people. I hope they die a bad death. I'm really pissed off. Give me back my money. Henry quickly noticed something was wrong. He pulled Ava to look at the comments. Only then did Ava stop cursing and freeze in place. She took Henry's phone to look and realized that the video of the two of them had already spread widely. Only then did I speak. So, you'd better pay back the money I lent you quickly. Otherwise, I have more things to expose about you. I didn't bother to listen anymore and directly hung up the phone and ended the live stream at the same time. I dealt with all these things in Olivia's living room. After I hung up the phone, she woke up and stood quietly at the door without saying a word. When I turned around and saw her, I couldn't help but ask, "Did you sleep so little?" Olivia just shook her head. I couldn't fall asleep. I was thinking about what happened just now. I strode over and hugged her tightly. It's okay, no one will bully you anymore. I've already taken care of it. Olivia hesitated for a long time before she dared to hug me back. Thank you. I was at a loss for words. This has nothing to do with you in the first place. She rubbed her head against my chest. No, you saved me again. I suddenly thought of the first time I met Olivia. It was in a restaurant. At that time, she was working there to earn money. She was so thin and weak that she didn't hold the plate steady, and the food spilled all over a customer at the next table. The customer got angry immediately and slapped her. She covered her face and kept apologizing. I suddenly thought of my younger sister who had passed away due to illness. Her personality was just like Olivia's. Perhaps I missed my sister so much that I instinctively stepped in to stop the customer from doing anything further. I also paid the money she owed for the damaged plate. That's when I learned that she had just been admitted to university but didn't have the money to study. After the meal, she asked for my contact information, saying that she wanted to pay me back. I shook my head and refused. I told her, I'll cover your tuition fees for university. Just study hard in the future, and that will be your way of repaying me. She was stunned for a moment, and the joy on her face couldn't be hidden. She bowed repeatedly and thanked me in the direction where I drove away. When we met again, she had already grown into a graceful young woman, less timid and more courageous. Perhaps we had been hugging for a bit too long. Olivia let go of me, shyly. From that day on, the atmosphere between us became much more ambiguous. I gave her an exception and transferred her from an intern to a full-time employee. She then treated me to a meal with her salary as a way of repaying me. That's how it was. I gradually realized that she was completely different from Ava. She was confident and independent, and didn't take pride in relying on me. The image of her holding a stick at the entrance of the company flashed before my eyes again. She was like a little wolf that would never admit defeat. People came and went in the restaurant. I took her hand and said seriously, perhaps we can give it a try. Olivia's eyes lit up immediately, and she couldn't help but ask, what did you say? I rubbed her hand and said solemnly again that I wanted to try being with her with the intention of getting married. Olivia was stunned for a moment, and then her hand started to tremble with excitement. Okay. Her usual smart and witty demeanor disappeared for a moment, and now she looked a bit dazed. I just felt grateful. After being reborn, I still managed to find a treasure and bring it home. Olivia and I had this meal very slowly, chatting about the things that had happened to us recently, but soon we were interrupted. Hey, isn't this my ex-boyfriend Julian? I looked up and saw that Ava was holding Henry's hand and walking up to me. Then she threw a bank card at me. This is the money we owe you. We've paid it back. She spoke in an arrogant tone, and there was a hint of mockery in her eyes. By the way, Henry and I are getting married soon. Remember to come. I held the bank card and exchanged a look with Olivia. Who knows where the money in it came from? I looked up at the two of them. Henry was still wearing the clothes of mine that Ava had given him before, but because they didn't fit him, he looked like a clown. The jewelry on Ava's body was already gone, but her demeanor had become even more arrogant. When my husband becomes successful, you two will be finished. I didn't care and took the wedding invitation. Sure, I'll go, I sneered. Just right. I also planned to give them a big gift soon.